name is Peace Obeng Appel, the CEO of Kanea Kasa Construction Limited, formerly or popularly known as Kasa Consultants. We are into RAM earth building. Kanea Kasa Construction Limited officially started about 7 to 8 years ago. We've done series of projects across the globe. Major of it is the Museum of West African Arts in Benin City Museum, which is currently one of the largest RAM earth edifice in the world and most structured RAM earth edifice in the continent. That is in Nigeria. We've built in post-Novo Benin Republic. We've consulted and built together also in South Sudan. We've done projects also in Kenya and across every region in Ghana. Ghana has 16 regions, and we are barely in all the regions. We have our projects scattered all around Ghana. Currently, we are on one of our sites here, which is in Sawam, Pokrom, or you can say Ebri. Pokrom is in between Ebri and in Sawam. Ebri is on my left here, and in Sawam is on my right here, and this site is just in the middle. Now, this particular project is a one-bedroom project, which is a living room, an open kitchen concept, and also a bedroom. And we are doing two of that. One will be on my right-hand side here, and we have the main house also that will be coming in front of this. We are building this on the two plots. Now, as you can see, we are using RAM earth, purely natural that we are using. We don't use columns, we don't use rebar. We make sure our walls are very strong. With this project, we are using about 5.2% of cement. That's what we are using now. And today I'll be taking you through how we go about building it on site. So kindly follow me as I take you through. So with the RAM earth, their main component we use is the lightrite. Now, the lightrite, or what we call the red soil, it's not every type of red soil that we use. We have specific type. So let me take you to where we have just outside here and see the type of lightrite that we use. This was a very hip one, and we've used it, and this is the remaining. The natural lightrite we use. What we look at majorly is the clay content, right? We use about 75 to 80% of this. That's what we use to build. Then we now supplement it with other materials such as sand or maybe corridors, about 15%. So that makes about 95%. Then we use the cement for 5% or 5.2%. That's what we use to build. Now, when we are selecting the soil, which is the main factor in the strength of the wall. Now, if you want to make it very natural, because we don't depend so much on additive or other materials such as maybe stabilizing, we depend on the natural strength of the soil. So in a soil selection, we carefully choose it very well. Now, in selecting, the first thing we look at is the clay content. The more the clay, the easier the walls will invite cracks, or you start seeing cracks. So we are looking at in between 5 to 10% clay in the soil. I know that most people look at the RAM earth and compare it to the mud houses. Now that's the difference between the RAM earth and the mud houses. The mud houses is majorly clay. The RAM earth is not clay. The RAM earth is majorly lightrite, sand and stone. And the clay becomes a natural bonding element that makes it stronger. So we look at between 5 to 10% of clay, and we look at about 60% of gravels and sand mixed together. That makes us a very good soil as well, naturally. So we normally pick the soil from commercial pits or sites that are around. Currently, this one we are picking it from about 36 kilometers away from the site that we are bringing it here. The closer it is to the site, the better for the project, because the more sustainable it becomes for us. All right. So let's go to the next component there. All right. To achieve our mix, we pick, like I said, 75 to 80% of the lightrite. Then we add a bit of a dust. Yeah. Now, One of the reasons why we are adding this dust is because the clay content in this our litride here was more than 15%. So we are bringing in this material here to reduce the clay contents. And that's the reason why we add the dust to it. Then we add our 5% cement. When we are done, we do a careful mix. Now in the mix, we are not looking for a too wet mix because the water moist content is very, very important. If it's too much, you're going to have a slicky wall, which can also invite cracks. So basically, in mass calculation, we look at about 5% or 6% mass of the water. And we ensure that we have enough water to be able to compress it or ram it very well. But we don't allow the water to be too much. This is not concrete. So what makes it stronger or what makes it beautiful is the ramming. That's why it's called ram earth. So we make the earth such as this. You have to make sure that, yes, when you do like this, you can feel the water, but your hand should not be wet. It shouldn't be too much wet, like the way they do the mud houses. Yeah, so you see, that's why the walls look rustic. Right? So if there's too much water, it becomes so smooth like a rendering and plastering. Ram earth should not be like a rendered or a plaster surface. The portion should not just seal. It should be rustic. The feeling of this should be rustic. That makes it natural and allows air to be able to breathe in and also to breathe out. All right. So once we do our mix, we take them into these shutters or the formwork. As you can see, we pick the soil in layers with this thing called hair pan. So they'll pour it inside, we'll carry it, then they'll pour it bit by bit. So we'll spread it across, then we'll get our first layers. We pour it, then we did it. Then we poured another one, we did it. We pour another one, we did. We pour another one, we did. We pour another one, we did, like that. Unlike the block work where you finish laying the blocks and you come and you do a cut, the ram earth we do insert it whilst we are ramming. So this condo was inserted when we're doing the ramming stage, and the pipes are well buried inside the walls. So we'll just pass our cable there, and then we'll have a light here. So for this particular building, we are going 3 meters high, 3.6 actually, but the ceiling will be 3 meters. The idea is that the thicker the wall, the higher you can go. So this one, we are using the thickness of 300 mm, which is millimeters, or 30 centimeters, or 12 inches. So this can go as high as 3.5 meters. So there's no iron rod inside, there's no mechanical system inside. We are dependent on the thickness and the strength of the wall to be able to stand. And it's also very, very firm. Very, very firm and strong. So if we were to go higher than 3.5, we would then have to add a bit of the weight to make it thicker. And we'll take it higher. The thicker the wall, the best terminal advantage you have for the inside. Because the condition we have here in Ghana, the sun is quite scorchy. And if your walls are thicker, it doesn't easily penetrate to come inside. Right? So it stops somewhere in the middle. And in the night, it also releases it. Most time we have people wanting their ram air to be very, very smooth to the extent that, okay, they want enough sealant that are chemical, and also even that seal the pores. Now, the idea of this is that the more porous it is, the more advantage it is to you terminally, because then the air can go in and the heat can go out. Now, when you also do that, you then have to have something like a rough surface like this, right? Because if you try to seal all this rough surface, that means you are going back to the conventional way, and you'll not be able to have the terminal advantage. So to balance the aesthetic and the terminal advantage, you have to have that kind of imperfection on the wall. Looking at this, it's purely organic. Less carbon. We are talking about just 5% of cement in the whole total project. So you have less carbon, and you don't inhale any chemical because we don't paint this. We don't bring any artificial thing to this. This is the natural state. This is how it's going to be. So health-wise, you are breathing very well. Then in terms of even in terms of maintenance, this doesn't get dirty for you to paint. We live in an environment, especially this part of the world, where we have a lot of tear and wear. It rains and sunshine comes, and you have paint fading out. You have to come back 5 years, 6 years to repaint the house to look nice. This doesn't do that. You don't paint it, and it doesn't fade out. No matter the rain, it is earth. It stays where it is now. So you save the cost of maintenance. Maintenance become very, very low. Yeah. Then another one of the important benefits also give is it's also fireproof, sunproof, all the proof you can mention: waterproof, sunproof, fireproof. This is made of earth. Fire cannot destroy it. The last component they use to quench fire mostly is sun, and this is made of sun. So that's one of the advantages you have also as building a rammed. And in terms of cost-wise, yes, ideally, if you have all things being equal on the scale, you can have about 25 to 30% construction cost to save comparing to the conventional way. This is with the high-class finishing. We are using the high grade A finishing, and this is costing about 18,000 USD. Yeah, and having a living room, have your kitchen, then you have your toilet, then you also have your master bedroom. Yeah. So the cost also normally depends on 3 factors. Just to add that to it: the location, the design, and the finishing. So there are some areas this particular design might be a little bit high or might be a bit low, depending on the area, because the area will determine the cost of materials, the logistics, the topography of the land. Now with this, you see that the foundation, we use a normal straight foundation. There are some areas maybe it's too waterlogged. We have to do extra technical factors to make it stronger. That can then make it differ. But give and take 18-20, you can have your 1-bedroom house. For the walls, for the rammed walls, it should take us about one and a half months. For the foundation, take us about a month and a half, so that will be 3. For the finishing, should take us about 1.5, so probably like 4.5 months is fine if the weather is on our side. We have been able to use the rammed technology to erase the perception or the concept about earth building or earth houses. There's a notion that earth buildings are for the villagers or those who stay in the village or the poor. But with this rammed, we have been able to erase it, and we are pushing enough to show that it can be used to do even commercial and community projects. When we did the long tennis court wall at Osu, it was something lovely. I mean, we had people from the elite class coming there. We see people using it as their social media pages and pictures. We see people parking their cars, loving to go and feel it. And we are so glad. And we look forward for more opportunity to build projects that can speak, such as the museum. When we went to Nigeria, everybody thought it was mud houses. Benin City is actually one of the ancient towns in Africa, and they are known for mud houses, cup houses, and they all thought that was something. And initially, they were skeptical about it. They didn't understand why their leaders were going to invest such money into that. But when they saw a different concept such as the rammed, we now have a lot of people, the elite, they're calling us to have their residential house in rammed as well. So it has really helped to erase that notion of earth being a low class. I believe so much in this vision that we are going to see a lot of rammed edifices around the globe. It's something that will help, because living in an earth building is more refreshing, because this skin came from earth, and once it's abode in earth's house, it becomes so refreshing. And also it's something that makes the environment so natural and so beautiful and eco-friendly. And I'll advocate that everyone should think of owning or having a rammed house or home or project.